Three friends enter the forest for a weekend of laughter, freedom, and peace. But the woods, they had other plans. What if you saw yourself sitting at another campfire mimicking your every move? What if the trees whispered your name? What if your reflection that wasn't yours anymore? This is not just a camping trip gone wrong. It's a descent into something ancient, something watching, something that wants to replace you. The invitation. The forest was dense, ancient, and far away from civilization, just the way Ethan wanted it when he found Pine Hollow Campground online. It seemed perfect. No cell service, no neighbors, just endless trees and a private lake. He invited Maya and Liam, his closest friends from college, for one last summer adventure before graduation. They arrived just before sunset. The forest greeted them with eerie silence, broken only by the crunching of gravel under their tires and the occasional distant caw of a crow. As they unpacked their gear and set up the tent, the trees around them stood tall and motionless, almost watchful. Maya paused as she laid out her sleeping bag, turning slowly toward the tree line. "Did you hear that?" she asked. "Hear what?" Liam grinned, tossing a marshmallow into his mouth. "The trees whispering your name?" But Ethan heard something too, a low hum, almost like a chant, then nothing, brushing it off his nerves. They built a fire, roasted hot dogs, and laughed under the stars. But as night fell, the air grew unnaturally cold. Their fire crackled with blue-tinted flames for a moment, an odd chemical reaction, they assumed. Then Maya found something strange near the edge of the woods. A handmade charm hanging from a branch, twine bone, and feathers crafted with eerie care. "There's more," she said quietly, shining her flashlight deeper into the forest. They followed the light and discovered dozens of these charms dangling like warning signs. Beneath one, scratched into the bark of a tree, was a single word: return. They laughed nervously. Maybe it was left by other campers or locals playing pranks. But that night, as they tried to sleep, Maya awoke to the sound of whispering, faint, overlapping voices coming from every direction. When she opened the tent flap to look outside, she saw something even worse than a shadow or a figure. She saw a second campfire flickering quietly deeper in the woods, and three dark silhouettes sitting perfectly still around it, mimicking their exact positions. Three college friends, Ethan, Maya, and Liam, camp in the remote Pine Hollow woods. On the first night, Maya discovers eerie totems and hears whispers. Outside, she sees a second campfire with three unmoving figures mimicking them. The imitation. Maya stared into the trees, her breath caught in her throat. The figures by the second fire didn't move. They didn't flinch. They simply sat, facing her direction, silhouetted in flickering flame. "Maya?" Ethan's sleepy voice came from behind. "What are you doing?" She turned quickly. "There's another fire," she whispered. "And people, point three of them, just sitting there." Liam crawled up beside them and peeked out. "There's nothing there." "What?" Maya blinked. The fire was gone, just darkness and trees. "You probably dreamed it," Ethan said, though his voice held unease. "It's late. Let's try to sleep." But none of them really slept. By morning, a dense fog covered the forest. Their fire pit was cold, though they had fed it all night. Strange claw-like marks trailed across the dirt near the tent, circling it. "Animal?" Liam suggested, trying to laugh it off, but Ethan wasn't so sure. The marks were too deliberate, too human in shape. Later, while collecting water near the lake, Maya froze again. On the opposite shore, she saw them, point three identical figures, sitting cross-legged still, watching. She dropped her bottle and ran back to camp. "They're real," she panted. "They're watching us." Liam, annoyed now, grabbed a flashlight and pocket knife. "All right, enough." Let's go find these creepy campers and tell them to back off. They followed Maya's path to the lake. There no one was there, but carved into the trees along the shore was something new. 3 stick figures, point one with a slash across the neck. Liam tried to joke again, but his voice cracked. Sick prank. Has to be locals. That night, they moved their tent closer to the car, but as they huddled inside, the same whispers returned, closer now, surrounded. Then came footsteps, crunch, 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 and then laughter. Their own, echoed perfectly from outside the tent. Ethan unzipped the tent slowly and peeked out. No one, until he turned and saw their own faces staring back at them. Copies of themselves, standing silently in the dark, mouths curled into smiles far too wide. The 3 campers are haunted by eerie figures imitating them. Strange totems, mirrored movements, and whispered voices unsettle them. Ethan sees doppelgängers of themselves outside the tent grinning in the dark. The hollow ones. Ethan stumbled backward into the tent, pale and shaking. "They're us," he whispered. "Outside, just us standing there, with our faces." Liam, furious and frightened, grabbed a heavy flashlight. "This has to be a prank. I am done playing scared." He burst out of the tent into the cold night air. But the woods were dead silent. The figures were gone. The only sound was the faint rustle of pine needles under the breeze. And something else, the wet, sucking sound like mud being pulled apart. Maya stayed back, gripping her necklace. She had worn it ever since her grandmother passed, a charm of protection, but it vibrated strangely now, buzzing against her chest. "Guys," she said softly, "we need to leave." The next morning, they packed in silence, but when Ethan turned the key in the car's ignition, nothing. Battery dead. "Did someone drain it?" he muttered, checking the hood. Everything looked fine. Then Maya noticed something. The car tires had deep puncture holes, slashed clean open with something not quite sharp, like broken bone. They were trapped by mid-afternoon. They decided to hike toward the ranger station, only a few miles on the map, but the trail was that different. Trees that weren't there before, carvings that hadn't been there the day before. At a fork in the trail, they found a signpost. Only one word on the wooden plank. "Stay." Suddenly, Maya screamed. The same doppelganger version of Ethan was standing a few feet away, motionless, eyes pitch black. Liam lunged at it with his flashlight swinging hard, but it disappeared into a wisp of fog, like smoke. They ran. Branches clawed at their skin. Whispers chased them between the trunks. Then the forest opened up in a perfect circle. And there they were, themselves, point three lifeless, pale bodies, lying in the center of the clearing. Their exact clothes, their exact faces, their own dead bodies, and written in the dirt beside them, smeared in something dark and red. "You are the replacements." Ethan, Maya, and Liam encounter eerie doppelgangers in the forest. Their car is sabotaged. The woods twist around them, leading to a clearing where they find their own dead bodies and a message. "You are the replacements." The ritual of the pines. No one spoke. The clearing was wrong, too symmetrical, too intentional. Even the trees surrounding it leaned inward as if to watch what would happen next. "Those aren't real," Liam stammered, backing away from the bodies. "That's not us. It can't be." But Maya's hand trembled as she pointed to the wrist of the body that looked like her, a silver bracelet. Her bracelet. "It's real," she whispered. "It's all real." Then the wind shifted. A sudden, cold gust swept through the clearing, and with it came chanting. Whispered voices layered over each other, ancient and sharp, circling them like a swarm. The trees began to groan and creak, not with the wind, but as if they were breathing. Ethan dropped to his knees, clutching his head. "There in my mind," he choked. There it's showing me something. Visions flashed through his thoughts. A group of people centuries ago, hooded, kneeling in this very clearing, offering themselves to something that a force, that a presence beneath the roots, that a forest spirit old, hungry, and bound to a pact. Once every generation, 3 souls must willingly walk into the woods and never walk out again, that I in exchange. The land remains fertile, the trees remain safe, the spirit remains asleep. But we didn't volunteer, Maya said through tears. We didn't agree to any of this, and yet their copies had already appeared. Their bodies were already laid out, because the woods didn't need consent, it just needed proximity. The forest had chosen them. Then the ground trembled, not an earthquake, but a pulse, like something deep beneath them had stirred. Cracks formed around the edge of the clearing. Black smoke leaked upward like steam from hell. Liam shouted, "Run!" But the trees shifted again, closing in, like ribs tightening around a heart. From the smoke rose a figure, not human, not entirely beast, tall, draped in moss and bone, with a face shaped like a rotted deer skull and glowing green eyes that it pointed a long, bark-like finger at them. Then it spoke, in a voice like the wind through hollow wood. "One must stay out or all are taken." The forest spirit awakens. Ethan, Maya, and Liam learn that the woods demand a sacrifice. One must stay, or all are taken. Their copies have already been created. The ritual is in motion. One must stay. The spirit towered over them, unmoving but suffocating in presence. The chanting around them grew louder. Trees groaned like they were in pain. Time seemed to slow. Ethan, breathing hard, stepped forward. "They'll stay." Maya grabbed his arm. "No, don't you dare." But the spirit tilted its head slowly, like it was listening, waiting. Liam took a shaky step toward them. "We can figure something else out. Maybe if we destroy the totems, maybe." Suddenly, the spirit's finger snapped toward Liam. He collapsed to the ground, screaming. His skin blistered, his eyes rolled back, and his limbs locked like he was being pinned by an invisible force. "Stop!" Maya cried. The spirit's voice echoed again, rattling their bones. "Choose. One stays or all are taken." The forest whispered around them in feverish agreement, repeating the words in 100 warped voices. Maya looked at Ethan. They both knew. There wasn't another way out. She stepped forward, tears brimming in her eyes. "They'll do it," she said quietly. "Let them go." Ethan shook his head. "No, Maya, don't," but her voice was calm. "This forest doesn't just want bodies, that IT wants awareness. That IT wants us to know what's happening as it takes us. If it has to feed, that it'll feed on me." The spirit moved slowly. It lowered its hand and extended it toward Maya like an invitation. She stepped forward and turned once more to Ethan and Liam, forcing a smile through the fear. "Get out of here," she said, "and don't ever come back." The second she touched the spirit's hand, the wind stopped. The forest fell silent, and then she was gone. That no scream, that no flash, just gone. The clearing was empty. The fake bodies vanished. The whispers ceased. The forest exhaled. Ethan and Liam stumbled through the trees, finding the trail again. The sun began to rise. The car started without trouble. They never spoke of it again. They never went back. But sometimes, in quiet moments, Ethan swears he hears her voice on the wind, laughing or warning. And deep in Pine Hollow, when the moon is full, campers still report seeing a figure near the edge of the lake. A girl, standing perfectly still, waiting. If this story sent chills down your spine, imagine what's coming next. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed the terror. Comment your favorite creepy moment below, and subscribe for more spine-tingling horror tales every week. Hit that notification bell, because in these woods, the next scream might be yours. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay brave, and whatever you do, don't follow the whispers.